to order at 6 p.m. Can we please rise for the invocation? Mr. Arjona, can you lead us, please?
Yes, let's bow our heads. Thank you, Lord, for your blessings. We pray that this meeting is successful, productive, and blessed. Guide us during our discussions. Give us wisdom concerning the issues that we face. Thank you for being our source of guidance. We give you the glory for what we accomplish. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please the flag, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May be seated. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to call Mr.
Mayor. The next item on the agenda is the presentation of departmental reports. We have the Department of Planning and Zoning, Department of Parks and Recreation, San Juan Library, and the Department of Sanitation. If there's any questions, the department directors are here so they can answer and address any of the questions that you may have.
Is there any questions for planning and zoning?
Mr. Gona, this 4th of July deal, when did we bring it to the commission for a vote?
Matter of fact, we're bringing it, as a matter of fact, we're doing a presentation today. It was not on a vote. It's administratively, we can do that internally, because the amount of money, it's minimal. It's, I want to say anywhere between $6,000 and $7,000 that pertains to the city. That's our participation, so in that, it's an administrative call. I know the mayor asked me about doing something for the community on the 4th of July, and the date that fall right before the 4th of July was July 1st. So with Commissioner Ramirez and the mayor, we talked about it, and we're bringing it before you guys. Right now, it's a presentation, but like I said, it's administratively that gives me the authority to do it.
No, and, I don't have a problem with that. The only thing is, you can always bring it to the commission and make sure that, you can start it and proactive, get it to the commission. So this, $6,000 is kind of minimal to me, I know it's going to probably take more than that. I do events, and so I wouldn't wait to get to spend over when you have a chance to bring it to the commission and get it approved.
Mr. Arjona, following up, is that the norm where the mayor will request something and you'll follow up and try and get it done?
Well, usually, it's at the pleasure of the mayor to request for any type of activity that may, and it is. pretty
Are there
much
any examples you can give me of
in the
events
previous-
that have taken place
we
because
have-
of the request by a mayor?
Well, we have like the Halloween night, the tapetes de arena that we do with the Basilica and the school district. The San Clovia, that's another one that is at the spearheaded by the mayor.
And they weren't brought before the board for approval, correct?
Not necessarily.
Thank you.
The only question that I had, Mr. Gorgona, you have a firework display here, and I've been I do fireworks before, years before. So that is a big risk, for you just to not bring to the city commission and make sure that we explore that the right way. The legal counsel looks at we're covered every direction. McAllen had a fireworks years back, one missed shoot and they hit several people. So why don't we take the precaution, take the safe way out, and make sure that we're covered every direction?
Have you looked at any safety precautions, Mr. Arjona?
As a matter of fact, it's the fire department that has been with us working on that.
Okay. So we are looking at taking
All
precautions.
liabilities, basically.
Pretty much.
Thank you, sir.
Chief, I have a question for you. Has someone contacted you in reference to any kind of like professional
Yes,
in
sir.
handling those fireworks?
Yes, sir. We got a phone call from a company, I believe, based out of San Antonio or Corpus, around that area. They were looking into the area that, as far as they were requesting, they needed any type of permits, but they were looking into the information for the firework display.
And by any chance, do you know how many people consist of? Like as far as running a firework display like that? Or is there, what I'm trying to ask, is there firefighters involved, or do you guys have to get involved, or?
Well, in the sense that we do, Mayor, we secure the area that's required, the perimeter that they require. We safeguard it as far as enclosing, get to attend also to be there in case anything does happen.
Now, have you relayed that information to Mr. Arjona in reference to the agency that contacted you?
I spoke with him briefly, and I told him that we had gotten a phone call from a company that was requesting information as far as permits and all that for a firework display. But as far as we've gotten, he spoke to the fire marshal, and the fire marshal told him that we were glad to help him and assist him in any way we could. We've had a firework display here before, I'm going to say back in 2009, and it was during the December event, what is it, Noche de Paz?
Exactly.
So, but it was I think there's very limited companies here in the state of Texas that actually do that pyrotechnics.
Okay.
Out of Dallas is probably the Trout family, because I work for them.
Oh, okay.
And probably Mr. W. There's a few. The thing
Yes.
about it now is that everything's done electrical, so it's a lot easier. Before you would have like 3 or 4 men. You had 3 loading and 1 firing. Now it's electronic, so they can just put them out. That's why I like the island. But I was looking at $2,000. The last one that I did was $5,000. It was in Rio Grande, and it was not that big. So $2,000, I don't see what they're going to bring. That's my concern too. What kind of fireworks are they going to put out?
Yeah, Commissioner, and if I may, our participation from for the 4th of July, and we have a presentation here shortly, but it's about $6,000 are participating on this event. Now, the EDC is also participating on it. They're participating with 15,000. So it's not only for the fireworks, but also for the bands that are coming over and a couple of other things that that he's going to be presenting here shortly. But it's not a couple of $1,000s that we're going to be providing to the fireworks per se, but it's more like 22,000. Our participation on that, like I said, is only 6,000, 6,500, something like that. But it's not $2,000.
I have a question for Mr. Cervantes. As far as Operation Crackdown, where are we at on that project?
We have 4 houses that the property owners have given consent to the city to get the houses demolished, houses in very poor condition, unsafe structures. So we just need to visit with the Public Works Department and schedule the demolition of the houses as soon as possible.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Willingham, All-Stars, how's that going?
Yes, sir. All-Stars is on their way. We're in our second week of international play. And next week, we'll be starting the sectionals, advancement. We have 11 teams representing the city of San Juan in both baseball and softball. And right now, we're hosting the 13 and 14-year-old division and the 3 and 4-year-old division. Next week, we'll be hosting the 6-year-olds and the 8-year-olds here in San Juan.
Everything, no problems?
So far, so good.
That's it from me, Mayor.
Mayor, if I may, I'd like to bring Patrick over, Willingham, so that he can show that the 4th of July, July 1st presentation on the screen.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission.
Good evening, sir.
Patrick Willingham, Parks and Recreation Director. You go to the first slide, the flyer. Okay, that's okay. Well, on Saturday, July the 1st, we'll be hosting a 4th of July celebration, and it's going to consist of fireworks, live music, six big inflatable slides, some of them water slides for kids. The idea and the concept of this small celebration is a little bit different than in the past, where we've sectioned off Municipal Park and set up 30, well, actually 37 if needed, 30 by 30 areas where people can call in, reserve a spot. It's on a first-come, first-served basis. You can bring your own barbecue pit, and it's for recreational purposes only.
No charge, right, Mr.
No
Willingham?
charge. It's a free admission to the public. And you can barbecue and host your family, friends, and enjoy the afternoon. As you see up on this screen right here, the X's mark, I think right now we're at about 10 reserved locations. There's still 20 more there on the front. We have 7 additional spaces in case we need an overflow area. So you can see right there which spaces have been reserved thus far. Music is going to kick off around 6 o'clock in the afternoon. The bands that have been that will be playing will be our local here from San Juan, Mr. Roy Trevino, Texas Legends. They're from here, I think out of far in San Juan. Roy Solis is the other band. Oh, and the Arroyo Band. Those 4 will be performing throughout the evening. We have an MC, a local comedian, Mario Salazar, who will be emceeing the event throughout the night. Around 9:30, 9:35, we'll have the national anthem sung by Miss San Juan, or Miss Cervantes. And then at 9:45, the fireworks show will kick off. It's about a 12 to 14-minute show. Right there on the south part of on the lower part of the map, it shows the area that's been secured. The area has been secured dealing with the height of the fireworks and how long they're going to spread out. So it's not a huge fireworks show, but it will be a nice one for all the families to enjoy. And the area's been secured. Our fire department has agreed to participate and secure the area to make sure that everybody's safe and taken care of. So for more information, everyone's invited to call the office to reserve their spot. Like I said, we've got 20 up front and then an additional 7 there right to the south of the main lawn. And we'll also have, in addition to that, we will have vendors on hand for those that just want to come out and enjoy music and not necessarily bring, a pit to cook out. There'll be vendors available that'll be selling food, drinks, raspas.
Taking vendors?
Yes, you contact the planning department and speak with Ms. Zoila Martinez, and she can take care of you as far as anybody that's looking to be a vendor for that. There in the back, the red, the rides will be located. They're not rides, they're more really big inflatables for the kids to play on. And a few of those include water, so come out and cool down and enjoy the afternoon. So like I said, for more information, call the office, and we will be more than happy to let you know what's available as far as barbecue spots and give you more information, whatever is needed.
Security?
We will have security on hand. PD has offered to help with the event as well. So the grounds will be secure. One thing I would like to mention to those who already have reserved their spots or those thinking about reserving their spot, will be allowed to bring in their pits between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. that day. At 3 p.m., we'll shut it down and no more in and out traffic because that'll be the hour leading up to when we officially open up. We want to make sure the grounds are secured for any pedestrian, walking, kids, that nature. So it's a little bit different take on it, more family-oriented, fun afternoon. Again, free of charge, and come out and enjoy some music, some family time, and then see a nice fireworks show.
Those X's up there are the spots that are taken, or
That are
what?
taken thus far. Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Willingham, what do you have in mind so people will not come in and bring their fireworks and light them for their scene?
Well, we will have security and staff working throughout the grounds to make sure we take care of any abnormal behavior that might, take place. So if any of that, happens, we'll report it right away. We will have a plan in place to secure the area and who to report to, who to contact as far as any of that is concerned. Any other questions? All right, guys, again, call us if you need any more information. We'll be happy to assist you and get you all set up for the July 1st. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is presentation of scholarship awards by San Juan Fire Department. Mr. Chief Tirso Garza.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners.
Evening, sir.
We did our yearly selection of our scholarship for our PSJ Bears this year. We were able to, last year we gave 215, this year we were capable of giving 500 to a male and a female. They're one of the best students that, we did the proper selection and all that, and we're just going to present them with the award. And they're, I believe they're here. They're here, right, man? Okay. The female is Jennifer Martinez. Step up, man. And the young man is Omar Hector Fuentes. They were the two that were selected. We had over 25 applicants, and they were the ones that pretty much secured it. We gave another scholarship to one of our members that's been with the department, I think 15-plus years. His daughter, but she's out of town, but her name is Estrada?
Yes.
I didn't get her first.
Lilian.
Lilian Estrada. But she's out of town, so she wasn't able to come and take a photo with you all. But we're going to give them a round of applause.
Good job.
They were able to-
Chief,
Yeah,
picture?
we can take a
Yeah,
picture?
sure.
Say a few words. The next item on the agenda is the public hearings and ordinances. Conduct a public hearing and consider an ordinance in the first reading for the conditional use permit for the sale of alcoholic beverages for the off-premise consumption of the proposed Oak Barrel Liquor, Wines and Spirits store located at 502 North Veterans Boulevard, legally described as the west 193 feet of the north 162 feet of the south 318 Lot 2, Night Subdivision, as requested by Sharon Garcia. Mr. Cervantes.
Mayor, Commissioners, good evening. Ms. Sharon Garcia is applying for a conditional use permit to operate a liquor store at the proposed Oak Barrel Liquor, Wine and Spirits located in one of the suites of the commercial plaza located at the northeast corner of Veterans Boulevard and Chaparral Avenue. This is the new Santos Commercial Plaza. The applicant is proposing to sell alcohol for off-premise consumption Monday to Saturday from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. 15 surrounding property owners got notices within 200 feet, and nobody spoke in opposition during the public hearing with the Planning and Zoning Commission. The commission recommended approval unanimously during their May 18 meeting.
I'm going to go ahead and open this up to the public at 6:22. Is there anyone here for or against? For or against? Any members of the commission have any questions? I'm going to go ahead and close this at 6:22. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
The next item is conduct a public hearing and consider an ordinance in the first reading for a conditional use permit for the sale of alcoholic beverages for off-premise consumption at H&H Food Mart, store located 914 West Sam Houston Boulevard, legally described as the west 209 feet of the north 192 feet of Lot 1, Clark Mellenbrook subdivision, as requested by HH&A Incorporated. Mr. Cervantes.
Yes, the applicant is taking over the business formerly known as Easy Mart under the name H&H Food Mart. The convenience store is located at the southeast corner of Sam Houston Avenue and Veterans Boulevard. The applicant is applying for the conditional use permit for the sale of wine and beer for off-premise consumption only. Proposed hours for the sale of alcohol is Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 12 a.m., Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 1 a.m., and Sundays from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. 15 surrounding property owners got the notice for the public hearing. Nobody showed up in opposition during the public hearing. The Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended approval during their May 18 meeting.
I'm going to go ahead and open to the public at 6:24. Is there anyone here for or against? For or against? Members of the commission have any questions? I'm going to go ahead and close it at 6:24. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
The next item is conduct a public hearing, consider an ordinance in the first reading for a conditional use permit for recreational facility, a soccer field in a commercial zone property legally described as Lot 2, Jesus Quiroz subdivision, located at 2603 North Veterans Boulevard, as requested by Jesus Quiroz. Mr. Cervantes.
Yes, Mr. Jesus Quiroz is applying for a conditional use permit to construct a soccer field in a commercial property. The field will be fenced and will have a net within the fenced area to prevent any soccer balls from going to Veterans Boulevard and possibly causing an accident. Mr. Quiroz is proposing to build 88 restrooms for this field and to use his car lot for parking for the patrons during soccer games. The proposed hours for the use of the field will be Monday to Friday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturdays and Sundays from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. This went before the Planning and Zoning Commission, and they recommended approval unanimously during their May 18 meeting.
I'm going to open this up at 6:25. Is there any members of the public for or against? For or against? Commission, any questions in reference to this matter? I'm going to go ahead and close at 6:25. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
The next item, appointments, it's consider the appointment to appoint the alternate and policy committee for the Hidalgo County Metropolitan Planning Organization. On the last meeting, Mayor, we selected as the MPO person to
Correct.
represent. But one of the things is that we missed to designate an alternate, if in case you can't make it.
Now, can it be anybody from
Anybody from the commission?
the commission
Yes.
or an employee? Because I remember sometimes Mr. Cervantes would go as well, so.
Well, I think Mr. Cervantes will go because that's part of our, learning as to what's going on, but, I'm not really sure on that, if it can be designated
Can we
as an employee.
appoint?
Typically, I know that they've done employee in the past before. I
Employees.
remember in the city of Edinburgh, our city manager would be a designee sometimes. But it could be somebody in the commission, or the city manager, or somebody as a director here a director here with the city, but
Okay.
it's your choice.
Okay.
It's designated as an alternate anyway.
Right. So I guess it can be an employee or a member of the commission.
Mayor, if I may, they have to, you have to nominate an alternate, which is if you don't, you're
Yeah.
not able to attend, an alternate goes, and then you can decide one out of 3 proxies as well. So it would be another alternate and then a proxy.
So there's 3?
So if you can go and then your alternate can't go, then the proxy goes.
Oh, okay.
So it just, you have to nominate for the alternate and then the proxy.
I'll go ahead and nominate Mr. Javier Cervantes to be the alternate, and Mr. Arjona to be the proxy. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Next item along the same lines is the consider appointments to the Housing Authority Board. Mr. Mayor.
I'm going to go ahead and remove Adriana Salazar, and I'm going to appoint Feliberto Garza on the Housing Authority Board at this time. We don't have to take a vote on that.
And Mayor, I just want to make sure, Feliberto Salazar
Garza.
is not a employee or an officer of this municipality, is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
Who was it, Garza, last name?
Feliberto Garza. So we don't have to take a vote on that?
No.
Okay.
It's a mayor, under the Texas Local Government Code 392.00033F, it's a mayoral appointment.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, the next item is item C. Is that it, Mayor?
Yeah.
Okay, item C is consider remove and appointment of board members related to the San Juan Economic Development Corporation Board. Mayor.
Any nominations at this time?
Mayor, I would like to make a motion to remove Eddie Rodriguez and appoint Fred Rodriguez.
Is that in the motion? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Is there anyone else? Any more nominations? I'd like to remove, I think she resigned, right? Adriana Salazar?
Yes.
We
Okay.
already appointed somebody.
Right, we've already appointed Arturo Fajardo Jr.
Oh, that's correct.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and like to remove Dolores Barrientos and appoint Rubio Muniz. Make that in a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. That's it.
Next item is the consider remove and appointment of the board members related to San Juan Civil Service Board.
Is there any nominations?
I would like to make a motion to remove Mr. Vasquez and appoint Rolando Casas, and remove Mr. Alvarado and appoint Mr. Eric Sanchez.
Is that in the motion?
Yes, sir.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes.
The next item, discussion and possible action on the following matters. We have Mr. Matos from PBK giving us a discussion action on the interior finishes for the new public safety building. He's going to show you some interior designs, and this is for the new building and for you all to select some of the colors and the tiles.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. So this is our second presentation for interior finishes for the public safety building project. We we presented a month ago or so, the exterior finishes, and tonight we'll be focusing on interior finishes only. Okay. The project's about 53% complete. It's moving forward, and there are no delays in schedule, so we're still, date for substantial completion still on target for August 21st. So what we see here on the first slide is selection for, on this project we don't have any carpet, we only have tile and VCT pattern. What you're looking here at this slide is tile only at the lobby as you first walk in, and that same tile, runs into those two public restrooms. And then we also have tile on the staff restrooms. Next slide, please. This is a render of the lobby, of the main lobby. As you first walk in through the main doors, you're looking at that window on your right is the reception slash records reception window. On the left, you see the restrooms doors and a door for one of the interview rooms. Here you can see that the tile, the image is not doing much justice, but we'll run that tile into the restrooms. That wall is an accent wall. We're only using that blue tile on that wall. We're trying to pay homage to the navy blue of the city of San Juan, and you're gonna see that blue throughout this presentation. We select a few walls, to accent walls and patterns on the floor, and that particular wall as you first walk in the building. Next slide, please. So here is a simple paint pattern on the walls. We're trying to keep the interior core where the hallways are neutral colors, and you see some accent walls in blue in the offices and some other rooms, the training room in the end. Pretty much just offices and the training room. Next slide, please. That's it. So here, you can see up close what the finishes look like. So that's the blue tile on the lobby. That goes on the floor. This one goes in the restroom. That's the staff male restroom, female restroom. On the wall, that goes on the floor, door, plastic laminate under the door. This is bid work. This is all the paint palette, and these are the VCT, and these is your rubber bays with this would be the floor, extra floor frame of the interior doors. The one slide I'm missing is okay, next one please. Here it is.
Sure. Before we start, can you turn around and inform the public on that, please?
So this is that blue tile on the lobby, right? You want to go back to that? Sure. That one. That's that white stripe you see on the top above the window. This is that field blue. This is the tile that will go on the floor, the actual floor of the lobby. These are the color pattern or the palette throughout the building. And this is a tile for the women's restroom on the wall. This is men's restroom wall, floor, VCT palette here. And then this is the rubber bays and plastic laminate of the palettes and the interior doors. You want to go back to the here looking at a floor plan, this is what we call a flooring pattern. We try to keep it simple. As you can see again, you see the blue, kind of emphasizing the wayfinding of the hallways and the offices. Again, just try to keep neutral colors and just some pop of that blue, trying to pay homage again to the city, to someone the deep navy blues you all have. So I think this is the end of the presentation. If you all have any questions. And I just want to point it out, that wall, the tile in the restrooms, it only goes up to 7 feet. Then above the 7 feet, you have painted drywall. So it's not tile all the way up.
Chief, you agree with all those?
Yes, Commissioner, I'm not an interior designer, but I agree with everything that the architects are doing. They're doing a great job, and I think that the public is going to really like the police department, and it's a great project, and I thank you all for approving it and being part of it, and I thank the architects and the construction company. They're doing a great job, great job.
No, we want the PD to be happy with what they have there, because that's who's going to be working on from there. So the more that they get motivated with their, environment, the better work they do.
Yes, Commissioner, that's correct. All the project design, it was input from the employees. That's the way that they wanted the offices and office space and all that, so.
I forgot to mention, we had a workshop last week, and Chief and Cervantes and City Manager, they were present, and kind of walked them through all these finishes, so we did that prior to coming here tonight. So they've seen this, not the presentation, but they've seen the selections that we made.
Well, first of all, this is going to be a real nice facility, very sharp. I like that blue as soon as you walk in, and you're right, that's basically the color of the city. Not only that, that is my favorite color too, so
Right.
that's a big plus.
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, any questions, guys?
No more.
Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
It was second by who?
Ramirez.
Mayor Pro Tem Ramirez. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, sir.
The next item is the discussion and possible action to allow staff to advertise and accept sealed bids for water and wastewater treatment chemicals, analytical lab, and solids hauling and disposal services. Ms. Salinas.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. We're here to ask for authorization to solicit for bids for the annual contracts for the water and wastewater treatment facility, chemicals, and analytical lab services, and sludge hauling and disposal contracts. The chemicals listed are liquid ammonium sulfate that we use for the water treatment facility, aluminum sulfate, which is also used for the water treatment facility, chlorine that's used for both facilities, chlorine dioxide at the water plant, sulfur dioxide at the wastewater treatment facility, polymer at the wastewater treatment facility, copper sulfate at the water plant. Analytical services is for both facilities, and sludge hauling for both facilities as well.
Any questions from the commission? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garcia. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, sir.
The next item is discussion and authorization to ratify change order number 1 to the City of San Juan, 3.5 million gallons, water treatment plant number 2, expansion and rehabilitation to existing 3.5 million gallons, plant project contract with Vertex Companies in the amount of $39,484.60, and authorize city manager to execute any related documents. Ms. Salinas.
Good evening, Mayor Commissioners. As you are aware, we're under current rehab and expansion of our water treatment facility number 2, located on I Road and Sioux Road. And during that construction, there were some items that were identified at the time of construction that weren't caught during the design of the plant that needed to be replaced or added in order for the project to continue on time and be able to isolate the equipment that we're going to have to take off and rehab and still be able to maintain the plant and service. So we're requesting your approval to ratify the work that's already been done in the amount of $39,484.60.
When you say they weren't caught, whose responsibility?
Well, my understanding is back when they approached staff said that they existed because they weren't in the map, and it turns out that once they excavated the area, the valves weren't there. So there are valves that were underground that were supposed to be there that apparently weren't installed back when the original construction was done, and staff believed they were there, and they just never caught them back then. Of course, you got to remember, this project's been going on since 2010, so it's been a long time. There's been some turnover, so there's not that many people that we can go back to find out what happened back then.
Okay, thank you.
And where are we getting these 40?
The funding is coming from a surplus fund amount that was left over from additional project from Texas Water Development Board. If you all remember, we did request authorization from Texas Water Development Board to use that money to address this type of contingencies. So it'll be coming out of that fund.
Any other questions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
The next item is discussion and authorization to ratify change order number 2 to the City of San Juan, 3.5 million gallons water treatment plant number 2 expansion and rehabilitation to existing 3.5 million gallons plant project contract with Advertex Companies in the amount of $5,711.60. Ms. Salinas.
Again, Commissioner Mayor, after reviewing the SCADA submittal that was submitted by the company, SCADA is supervisor control acquisition data authorization so that the staff can control the plant. It was determined that there were some additional valves that needed to be installed in order to allow the equipment to perform at its top efficiency. So in order to continue with the project and not delay it, we went ahead and authorized the purchase of the valves and the installation in the amount of $5,711.60. So we're just asking your approval to ratify that work. And that would also come out of that same funding.
Same surplus?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions from the commission? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
The next item is discussion and possible action to approve the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board to attend a PSJA board meeting for permission to name park located to the Isolalo Arcaute Park behind Carmen Elementary School. I apologize for the typo. It's Carmen, C-A-R-M-A-N, instead of Carmen. Mr. Alaniz.
Mayor, Pro Tem Commissioners, Mr. Arjona, first of all, God bless you all. I hope everyone's doing well. The advisory board would like to move forward with you all's permission and you all's blessing to be able to engage in talks with PSJ ISD in naming of the unnamed park that currently sits directly east of Lalo Arcaute Park. The park is used quite frequently. We do have permission from PSJ to use that park. We're currently using it as well for our All-Star program, and we'd like to be able to move forward with the naming of that individual park. And along with the naming of that park, we'd like to be able to use the same criteria that we discussed, I believe it was about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks, something along that lines, of having the public be able to turn around and go online and give us their recommendations on who or what they would like this individual park named after. And again, like I said, the reason we're here is we would like Commission's approval to be able to engage in talks with PSA and see if we could get their approval as well to move forward with the naming of these parks.
Now, are we gonna look at that people are alive or have passed on, or either one?
No, Mayor. According to our bylaws, there are a few criteria that need to be made, and some of that criteria is if it's going to be named after a person, it has to be somebody who is deceased. It can also be named after an event. For example, 9/11, for example, can be named after an event. It can be named after a theme. But the advisory board would take preference. For example, this is a baseball and softball field, something that is along those lines, and if it's going to be named after someone, we would, I don't want to use the word prefer, highly encourage that it be someone who perhaps is directly related to baseball, softball, someone who's given back to even to the city and Parks and Recs.
I would recommend to check their criteria also, because this is school property. They got some bylaws that also follow.
Yes,
And
Commissioner.
hopefully that you're on the same page that they are. And second, when you do agreements like that with them, they might do a 10-year agreement, because those agreements mean that we're not probably paying anything for that, but, probably Parks and Recs have checked, and how long is that agreement? If we don't have an agreement, try to get an agreement. They do a 10-year agreement, meaning that every 10 years you renew it, in case that the school might need that property for something. But that way, we have something on paper that tells us exactly what we're doing.
Understood, Commissioner.
Solis, how long have you had that park?
I think, I could not give you a direct answer. Mr. Willingham, do you know?
But it's been no more than 10 years, right?
No.
At the most.
What about 10, right?
Well, we've been using it for 20 because they
No, no,
practice there.
I practiced there when I was a kid, but there was no fence.
Right, no,
That's why
I believe we're somewhere around 6 years, so if I could be wrong
I
on
think,
that.
if I'm not mistaken, 08, 07, 08. Yeah.
Well, then maybe we are close to 10 years
Huh?
then.
Longer, because,
You think so?
yeah, I went too far, I think in '09,
Really?
and we've been using it since before that.
Okay.
So maybe the initial 10-year is already up.
Could be. Okay.
And perhaps we need to add that onto our negotiations with them.
Okay. Any other questions from the commission? Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
The next item is discussion and possible action with naming the baseball softball complex consisting of the Mayfield Park, Lalo Arcarte Park, and the unnamed park behind Carmen Elementary, the one we just talked about. This is to name the whole complex.
Correct. Again, this is to name the whole complex. We used to use the same criteria as mentioned earlier. So each individual park would have their individual name, and of course, one name that encompasses the full park, all three parks.
Okay. Gotcha.
So you're renaming the Lalo Caute also?
No, we're not renaming. In other words, each park will have their individual name, and then we want to name the whole complex as a whole.
Like City of San Juan or San Juan
San Juan-
Sports Complex.
For example, San Juan
For
Municipal
example.
Complex, and in the complex, 6, you will be playing at Lado Arcaute, you will be playing at Mayfield Park, et cetera. But to name the complex as a whole.
Any other questions from the commission?
So this is just to change the name of Mayfield?
No. This is just,
Add a
We're
name
not-
to the fields itself, to the complex.
yeah,
itself. So all
the
three
location, like, right?
Yes,
It's like the umbrella, like,
Correct, yeah, just one general name to name the whole complex, all three fields in one. For example, San Juan Municipal Baseball, Softball Park, as an example. And then within there, we have the individual Mayfield Park, Lado Arcate Park, and whatever the unnamed one.
the new
winds
name's
up being.
gonna be on that small
Correct.
part. Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item, Mayor, discussion and action to authorize city manager to request statement of qualifications for city engineers. Mayor?
So you're requesting it, or who's requesting it?
This is the authorized city manager to request statements of qualifications for
Yeah,
city
but who's
engineers.
requesting it? Who's putting it on the agenda?
That was mayor.
Mayor, okay.
Okay. How many do we have right now?
We currently have 3, Mayor.
3.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions from the commission?
So are you gonna go for qualification, or we're gonna go for RFQs? Is that what?
RFQs.
Yeah, I
Statement of
understood it was,
qualifications.
I had asked you RFQs.
Yes.
Commissioner, it's RFQs.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I had informed you on.
Statement
Okay.
of qualifications, yes.
Okay.
Now, once you get the RFQs, are we gonna decide whether we're gonna go with 2 or 3, or we're gonna stay with?
That'll
3?
be up to you.
Once we get the
Right.
RFQs.
And we bring them back before you.
All right.
And how are you gonna do this RFQs? What, let's put somebody that knows something about engineers and,
Yeah, because the last
About
time,
construction?
it wasn't done that way.
I don't have a problem putting a committee in, but just put a committee that's more informed about
Yes.
construction and engineering.
Will do.
Make sure you're in it. Not like last time.
Okay.
With that being said,
Motion to approve?
is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes.
The next item is discussion and possible action regarding contract with Purdue, Brandon, Fielder, Collins, and Mott LLP for legal services in connection with delinquent ad valorem, taxes, and mowing lien assessment for the city of San Juan.
And who's putting this one on the agenda?
Again, the mayor.
The mayor?
Is there a motion on table this item?
Second? You're making a motion?
Yeah, I'm making a motion to
Second.
table this item.
Table? Why?
On table.
'Cause
On table.
on table
Oh, I'm
this
sorry,
item.
yes, go ahead.
Second by Commissioner Garcia. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. It was,
This was never tabled. This was no action.
no, it was tabled.
Okay, you can look at the, I know it was never tabled. It was never tabled, but it's up to you.
No, it was tabled, sir. Okay, go ahead. Discussion from the commission?
Yeah, I think so, you know, what's,
If we can, just as a suggestion, if it is a matter that's tabled, if we can have our city secretary listed on the minutes, so that way as we repost it on the agenda, we typically will list it as a tabled item, and we actually put the date that it was tabled.
I see.
So whoever's preparing our minutes and preparing the agendas, if we can make sure that any items that are tabled, that we listed on the new agendas when it was tabled, so that way our commissioners are here told, they know that it was tabled, and we know we have to take up that.
yeah, if you look at the minutes, this was never tabled. It was tabled for legal counsel, and then this one, we just took no action. So, but the minute's gonna reflect it.
Yeah,
Correct.
even if it's tabled or wasn't tabled, it's still
Yeah.
listed as an agenda item, and this commission can discuss
Take this.
this item. But for future references, it'd be better if the city secretary would at least put this commission on notice that it was an item that was tabled or not, and when it was tabled. Just for future
Yeah.
reference.
So what is your recommendation right now?
You could proceed, and whether it was tabled or not, it was properly noticed, and you could have a discussion and make any motions if necessary.
No, normally when we have a table item, it comes in the next meeting. And that's why we had the legal counsel last meeting, and we didn't have this item on that agenda because it was not tabled. But that's fine, you know, we can still take action.
Discussion or contemplate motions, I just wanted to, was making a note.
Okay, so if it's up for a motion, I would like to motion to.
Well, actually, for discussion, I think so Lambert produced here, and I think so he should give to for the record his report of what he has done for the city of San Juan.
Good evening, Commissioners. For the record, I'm Gutierrez, partner with Purdue, Brandon, Fielder, Collins, and Mott, the delinquent tax firm. I understand it came as a surprise that we were on the agenda. I do want to let you know that your collections are trending very well. As compared to last year, we're right now at 18.88%, which is an improvement of 1.62% over the same time last year. So as far as the performance, as far as the collections, they are in the upswing. And I'll open it up for any questions that you may have as far as our services or
The
performance.
1.62 is a dollar amount?
I'm sorry?
Is it a dollar amount?
The 1.68 is percentage of
percentage.
the actual roll. And the reason we use percentages is because the roll is not always the same.
Right.
In a dollar amount, it's over, in base tax alone is over $25,000.
Over
probably
25?
About 25,200. I don't have the numbers as far as what it adds up with penalties and interest, but if you add penalties and interest, I would expect that it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $40,000, a little over $40,000, an improvement in overall dollars over the same time last year.
And would that have anything to do with increased values in properties?
No, that has
Not
nothing to
at
do.
all.
That's just more collections. And where you see that, where it's more obvious is on the percentage base. We've collected 1.62% more of what's available to collect over the same time last year. So it has nothing to do with values. It just means we've collected a larger portion of your delinquency over the same time last year.
What's the
Go ahead.
collections on 2016? Do you have that exact number, Mr. Iram?
2016, well, what I know right now, as of the end of May, it's 18.88%. Last year, it was 1.62% less than 18.88%. And I do have those numbers, I just didn't have it handy with me.
Well, we're talking about, and I'm just going back to what Commissioner asked about the property values. The reason that they don't reflect on this is because delinquent taxes is already taxes that people are delinquent, and the property values do not reflect into that area.
Right, that's correct. Last year, at the end of May, the collections were 17.26%. This year, as I stated, is 18.88%, an increase of 1.62%. In dollars, it's $25,207. Again, base tax alone. It doesn't include penalties and interest. So if you add penalties and interest, I estimate it's over $40,000 additional revenue for the city over the same time last year.
You did not have 2015.
I'm sorry, 2015?
Right, we're comparing 2017. Right.
Yeah, no, we started collecting on April 28th or 27th of 2016.
Right, so you wouldn't have data for 2015.
The collections on that.
Yeah, not with me. I mean, I would be able to access that information for you, but I don't have it handy. But I can tell you your last year's collections, they were in a downward trend. Then we came on board, collections started to improve. This year, they've been improving more over the same time last year. And I will say that that's not something you're seeing in a lot of places. In a lot of places, a lot of cities, a lot of school districts are actually seeing decreases in collection. So, or at least not as a large increase as the city of San Juan has at 1.62%. So I'm very proud of the performance. Your numbers are really very good. Very proud of the work we're doing. Of course, we work at your discretion, but we're very proud of serving the city of San Juan, and we hope to be able to continue working in the city of San Juan.
Is it safe to say that in 2016, you guys collected about 479,000?
Total
What I'm trying to do is, I got the information that I needed.
Yeah.
And I don't have it with me, I think I forgot it.
Yeah.
But the opposition back in 2015, they collected $627,492. That's 28.42%. And then I go back and I look at your all's information. Your fiscal year of 2016, collections was $479,259. So that's a decrease of $148,259.
Yeah, you have to keep in mind, again, the reason I remind you that those months of, the beginning to the end of May is, first of all, we began collecting for the city of San Juan on April 27th. We didn't take over the whole role, and for 6 months, the previous law firm was still collecting for the city of San Juan. All litigation accounts, we were collecting non-litigation accounts. When we took over in April, your collections were already down. You were compared to the previous year, which was something that was happening to the previous law firm throughout the whole county, by the way. We came in, collections started to improve, but the reason I'm showing you these numbers, the October through May, is this is from October through May of last year. We've been collecting for the city of San Juan by ourselves. From October 2015 through May of 2016, it was pretty much the previous law firm all by themselves, with the exception, again, of 3 days in the month of April and the month of May. But other than that, it was all of them. So if you compare those months, approximately 8 months, compared to when the other firm had all the accounts by themselves, to these 8-9 months that we've had it all by ourselves, your collections have improved. This thing about, well, there was $100,000 more collected back in 2015, 2016. Well, everybody's role back then was bigger. There was much more delinquency. Delinquencies have been decreasing. So You know, I can say the same thing over at the county, for example, where collections have dropped over $1 million when we were collecting versus this firm. Well, part of it is due to a decreasing delinquent tax roll. It's not all due to performance. So again, I think the best comparison you have here is percentages, because it's the closest way, it's the easiest way to do a pure comparison. You know, back then, collections were 17 point something percent. This year, they're 18.88%. This year, it's us by ourselves. That previous fiscal year, it was the previous law firm by themselves. So as far as collection rates, collection percentages, they're clearly on the upswing. I mean, that's, you know, performance-wise, the numbers are there, they're undisputable. But again,
Any other questions?
No, ma'am.
thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ready for the motion?
Huh?
Ready for a motion?
Yeah.
Motion to terminate contract with Purdue, Brandon, Fielder, Collins, and Mott for tax collection services.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Just for discussion,
Aye.
for the record, Mayor,
Go ahead.
I just want to go to the record that I'm voting against it because I see that this company has done a good job to this point.
On the record noted. It's been seconded by Raul, Commissioner Maldonado. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes.
The next item is discussion and possible action regarding appointment of legal services in connection with delinquent and valorem taxes and mowing lien assessments for the city of San Juan, and authorize city manager to execute an agreement for professional legal services relating thereto.
And if I may, as legal counsel, I'll recommend, because there's a not well clarified whether or not this item was tabled or not. So for safety precautions, we'll err on the side of caution. Let's go ahead and untable it. Whether or not it was tabled or not, won't make a difference. We just want to make it available for discussion today. So I think the appropriate motion would be to untable. If this council wants to go ahead and take any action or discussion, let's go ahead and untable it now, and then you can discuss. But for future reference, again, if our city secretary could note it down on our agenda, so that way this commission is placed on notice as to whether or not it was tabled the last time or not. It would help them to make their motions, their appropriate motions.
So is there a motion on table?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion, it's untabled. Discussion on the commission in reference to this item on the agenda?
On this one, Mr. Palacios, do we have to go through RFQs, or can we just appoint or make a motion to appoint?
Legal services doesn't require the RFP process.
Okay.
Or rules, under the procurement rules. This commission could make a motion to hire a firm if they wish.
Okay. I'd like to make the motion to hire Lineberger. I don't know the rest of the clan. Do you know? Lineberger and Associates.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes.
The other item is discussion and possible action to authorize city manager to conduct interviews for the position of city secretary and recommend top 3 applicants for second and final interview by the city commission.
So move.
So, you're gonna do interviews for city secretary, or you're gonna?
Yes, sir. The directive was that for us to kind of like streamline the applicants, there's about 17, 18, 19, 20 applications on file. So what we're going to do is streamline them, interview the top, I guess, 9 or 10 that we selected, and then bring them before you all for the final and for the second
And how
final
many
interview.
you bringing before us?
The top 3.
top three, and then
Yes,
we
sir.
get them from there.
Yes.
We started interviews?
No. It'll be after your approval.
And who's on that interview
For,
board?
for right now, it's Ms. Cordero and I.
That's it?
Why three? Why don't bring us five?
It's up to the board, to the commission.
Five? Yeah,
But we knock out 5 in one day.
yeah. The top five and.
Just do it in one
We
day.
interview the five top, as the second interview, one day.
Come out, we make a decision.
Yeah.
What, about 30 minutes?
Yeah, we can.
30,
figure all that
40
out.
minutes?
We can figure all that out.
Okay.
But we come out, that's fine.
So instead of top three, it'll be the top five.
Right.
Okay.
But compose a committee of three.
Yes, I'll get somebody else.
With that being said, is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
For clarification, is to have the city manager interview and bring to this commission the top 5 applicants by way of a 3-member body reviewing the application, is that correct?
That's correct.
Cordero, she's going to be part of the interview process, right, ma'am?
That is correct.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
The next item is contractual and resolutions. Consider the renewal of an interlocal agreement between the City of San Juan and the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley to continue to participate in the Stormwater Task Force. Mr. Cervantes.
Yes, the primary goal of the Stormwater Task Force is to implement a regional stormwater management program mandated by the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, TCEQ. This, who regulates the local governments on stormwater management and approves the city's stormwater plans to address broader water quality and watershed issues. In addition, this collaboration has enabled the participating communities and UTRGV to successfully secure over $14 million of grant funding since its inception. The UTRGV and Task Force partnership includes expanding partnerships with local school districts, including PSGA ISD. In 2003, 14 cities, including the City of San Juan, entered into interlocal agreements with TAMUC and now UTRGV, authorizing the development of a small municipal separate storm sewer system, MS4, program in compliance with TCEQ requirements. Today, membership includes 19 local governments and the development of a regional stormwater management plan, the first in the state. Annual membership fees include UTRGV to utilize fees for to leverage grant funds, conference planning, travel expenses, staff training, and for sponsorship of environmental and educational events. These funds also provide the city access to interns, technical support, grant opportunities, and vital assistance with submission of reports related to stormwater management to state agencies such as TCEQ and EPA. Consequently, the city has remained in compliance with state and federal mandates since the program's inception. We do have funds in the budget for this interlocal agreement. Staff recommends approval. Yes, it's a partnership that has been working very well for the city, and it has allowed us to be in compliance with TCEQ regarding the stormwater pollution prevention plan.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thanks. Next item, consent agenda. Consider an ordinance in second reading, amending the Code of Ordinances at Appendix A, Unified Development Code, Chapter 2, Zoning Regulations, Article 2, Establishment of Districts and Boundaries for the Expressway Corridor District, Article 4, Expressway Corridor District, including use and area regulations, area and heights requirements, definition, uses, additional requirements for parking driveway, landscaping, architectural standards. And again, this is just a consent agenda.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
The next item is consider an ordinance in second reading for the conditional use permit for the operation of a gasoline service station and for the sale of alcoholic beverages for off-premise consumption at the proposed Assist Quick Stop, proposed for construction at the northeast corner of Raul Longoria and Eldora Roads, legally described as a 1.78 acre tract of land out of Lot 14, Block 8, John Clausen subdivision, is requested by Assist Quick Stop LLC.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Mayor, the second item, executive session, we don't have to go into executive session. No, that's it.
So, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting has been adjourned. Thank you very much.